infinity, above, all the way to Christ consciousness, 1,000. And he said you can go higher still, right? You just angels and archangels, and it just goes on. But same is true for the dark levels. And he said there's only one quality. And that was the other thing that really struck me, because I'm into categories, you have to have categories. Yes, no, the black, white, opposites, that kind of thing. And he says, actually, the truth is that one quality only. And it's the absence of that quality. It's like a light. I can make it, dimmer or lighter. I mean, yeah. So when you're in 1,000, it's full on bright Christ consciousness light. And absence of Christ is where you have darkness. So that was a very, for me, just like, aha.
Yeah. I know.
It was,
So simple. Yeah.
it was profound. Profound. The issue for me, Tomo, was this, that the map now gives you a way to understand, or you might say what Krishna says, gunas, attributes of each person around me. And it was in academia. I could see like the chessboard. Oh, the king can only do this. The queen does this. I am a pawn. So in other words, Tomo, I look at the board and I thought the game is up. The game became up. There's no need to play this game. I left. So for me, that was a very huge relief, because I was always fighting, like I have to do this and do that. But the truth, once then you say, well, I've done this bit. Medicine and science is around 440. It's the level of the intellect, but Hawkins was very clear. You have to make a jump. And that's what we talked about earlier, that when you talk artificial intelligence or new technology, if they have a place from the heart, the programs that they would write are different. The science is different. It just is. And having seen Dr. Tiller at work, I realized, yeah, the science of the heart is very different. It's very different. So Tomo, share with us. So you looked at the map, you read the book and how did it resolve your mind? What with all of those conflicts, what started to sort itself out from chaos to this coherence? What happens?
Before Dr. Hawkins, I had no way to discern which one says the truth.
Yeah.
So especially the A Course in Miracles, especially in the textbooks, the textbook part of A Course in Miracles was maybe that was the confusing point. And, compared to other stuff like Bhagavad Gita or it's Vedic philosophy's descendants like Vivekananda or Paramasa Yogananda and other stuff like Bible. Bible is very cool.
Yes.
And all other self-help stuff. Maybe I took too much information and I have to sort all that out there. And I wanted that, but it took months, but couldn't resolve it. So I wanted to find out which one I wanted to follow. Yeah, but I can't. I have no way to discern it.
Yes.
So one day I surrendered. Yeah, that was another type of depression, I believe. Yeah. What was the question? Sorry.
Yeah. So, this reading eye, and this lift of
mm,
a resolution of the chaos of the mind, the conflict. And you're saying, yes, you
mm,
now had a way to sort out the
mm,
confusion with
yeah,
the text in A Course in Miracles. I
mm,
read the course, the
mm,
Gita, the Vedic philosophies. There's some meeting of similarity, but there's also, you're right, there are differences. And they're all exalted books.
mm, mm.
And how does it solve you, right? You want to just heal from this.
Mm, mm. The
And
map.
you took the pathway of a spiritual healing.
Mm,
This is very tough.
yeah, yeah,
You
yeah.
just didn't take chemicals and alcohol, and you could have done that, but you didn't. Okay, you took this.
Mm, mm,
That's
mm,
a big difference, Tomo. I just want to acknowledge that.
mm, 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 mm,
Okay. But go on, yes. So all these books are there.
mm. I wanted to find out so to say, single truth, but uh, as in showed in the map of consciousness, the truth, the truth is gradation. You know, so there are different levels of truth.
Right,
So
right.
there are no contradictions, just different contexts.
Wow, that is beautiful. You're right. We make it black and white, but it isn't really.
Yeah,
They're
yeah.
different levels. Yes, they
Definitely.
are.
That's quite an eye-opening experience.
And you're right. When Hawkins, one of the things he does say is, you don't need to label anything bad or good. It's just different.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
You don't say, I like chocolate and I
Mm.
hate vanilla ice cream. They're just two flavors, so get over it. I remember him saying that, and I
Right.
thought, you're right. That is brilliant. That
Mm,
is brilliant. He used to use very, very, just very funny things.
mm,
There's
mm,
no
mm,
contradictions.
mm,
Yes. You called to my mind, people are terribly interested in consciousness, right?
mm, mm,
Conscious, not a thing in your head, but it's a field. It's not enough to say consciousness is important. We got to know that there are levels of consciousness. This is why he called it the map of,
mm,
of consciousness, that you can have a consciousness of greed. You can have a consciousness of pride. You can have a consciousness like a scientist, intellectual reasoning all day long. Ultimately, you have to transcend it and leave it.
mm, 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 mm,
You have to leave it. So that is wonderful. No contradictions.
mm, 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 mm.
How did this bring you to Tiller's work? Because Tiller is a scientist.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And this is surprising, I mean, um, and I'll share my story of how I went to Prescott, Arizona, and
Mm,
told Hawkins, hey, you said intellect never can go into the 500, the heart.
mm, mm, mm.
Can you confirm this one? But tell me how you came into Dr. Tiller's world.
Actually, because of you, I
Oh,
saw.
yeah,
Yeah, maybe after I knew about the map of consciousness, and
yeah.
I wanted to find some over 500 theories. Yeah, uh, there are some calibrated works like Carl Jung,
Yeah,
but
Carl Jung. Yes,
in
yes.
physics, or like physics like uh, theory, I couldn't find it. But when I saw the Dr. Hawkins lecture many times, and one day I found out you uh, asking about Dr. Tiller's book to Dr. Hawkins, and
Yeah.
he calibrated it, and it was over 500. Yeah.
I was shocked. I was
mm,
shocked for many reasons. I went to Prescott that year
mm,
just to get an answer. I was
mm,
determined. I was not
mm,
leaving Arizona until I got an answer from Hawkins himself
mm,
because I
mm,
didn't trust that this scientific book could be consistently over 500. And
mm,
I
mm,
tried many ways. I would call people, they didn't know what they were calibrating. They were
mm,
blinded. There was two or three. One was in Edmonton, Canada. One was in Chicago, Illinois. There were
mm,
Dr. Hawkins students. And I said, I've got a book on my coffee table. I was in Minnesota. Could you please calibrate? Because you don't need to see the book. You can say
yeah,
the book on Nisha's coffee table calibrates, you can ask the question. Truth is impersonal. It doesn't
mm,
belong to anyone, which is also another very fascinating thing to understand that I don't own it. So these friends would leave messages because I'm a doctor, I'm in clinic, and they would leave messages that Nisha, this book by Dr. Tiller's Psychoenergetic Science, they didn't know. They just said this book is one of them. I remember this to this day. What she said. She
mm,
said, I don't know what you're asking me to calibrate, but I assure you, I've tried this again and again. I've checked it, cross checked it. This
mm,
book you want me to calibrate is over 540. I stopped there, but
mm,
because you're safe, whatever you're reading is going to be okay. I
mm,
didn't
mm,
believe her because even
mm,
I was getting over 500, and I said, there must be something wrong here.
mm, mm,
Because
mm,
when you look at psychoenergetic science, there's a lot of graph and equations, and I thought, I don't know, I didn't understand it. So another one said, no, I think whatever you're asking me to calibrate is consistently safe. It's in the
mm,
level of the heart,
mm, mm,
500. I take that book to Dr. Hawkins. And you know what? This is incredible, Tomo. Dr. Hawkins never asked people to, he said, please do not ask me to calibrate somebody else's work. He had
mm,
made that rule.
mm,
I broke it. I just went there and I said, hey, I calibrate. And he says, no, I think you're doing it right. He says, no, it's you're getting the right answer. And I said, okay, if that's the truth, and people are gonna come and remove me from the stage. But I said, no, what about this book? And I was shocked that he turns to Susan and began to say, and he put it at 575, if I'm not mistaken.
mm,
He
mm,
went way over 540. I was so dumbstruck. I just was so shocked. I remember forgetting my bag on stage. I was like in a daze. I couldn't sleep for a few days. I
uh-huh.
couldn't, I was so like, what? How can this be? Um, I remember it very well.
Mm, mm,
And
mm,
it was this map that made me sort it out because,
mm,
Tomo, by then I knew I needed to, like you, I have to find the truth. The
mm,
science that I'm doing is not the way. I have to find a science,
mm,
whatever it might be. I even
mm,
looked at Carl Jung, but I'm not a psychiatrist.
mm,
I looked at David Bohm, implicate, explicate order. He talks about the internal world and the outer world, but he's dead. Okay. I need somebody who can really teach me things. Okay. I'm sorry, but I needed that. Okay. A dialogue, not just reading books.
mm,
I couldn't have done it.